Sports time now, and we head on over to the sports studio and say good evening to Anne-Marie Burke. Anne-Marie, what do you have for us?
Good evening, Lisa. Well, I can tell you that the 2021 Caribbean Games will go ahead as scheduled, despite being staged just weeks before the start of the Tokyo Olympics next year. Guadeloupe has been awarded the hosting rights to the inaugural edition of the Caribbean Games, which are scheduled for June 30th to July the 4th. The Olympics are set for July 23rd to August 8th. In an exclusive interview with CBC Sports from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Secretary General of the Caribbean Association of National Olympic Committees, Keith Joseph, made it clear that the Caribbean Games are geared towards a specific age group.
When Guadeloupe put up their hands to bring the event, they offered us an under-23 package. The athletes under 23 have a major challenge in making national teams, as you would imagine, since a number of the senior athletes are staying on much longer. As of now, what we're hearing from our French colleagues is that they have been told by the French authorities to continue planning for the games as if the date would not be a bother. We should also say that before our games, there would also be the inaugural Pan American Junior Games, which is scheduled for Cali, Colombia. And at a recent meeting, the executive of Pan Am Sports agreed to leave those dates because of the length of time before the Olympics. And those games are also under 23. So in truth and in fact, the idea was that with the Pan Am Juniors and with our Caribbean Games is that the younger age group, we've recognized that there's been a significant fall-off in participation by our youth.
Joseph says the Caribbean Games will also have sports that do not fall under the Olympic banner, for which many athletes in the region have an interest in.
You're looking at netball, which is not on the Olympic program. You're looking at futsal, which is not on the Olympic program. We do have 3-on-3 basketball, and many of our Caribbean countries would not have been among the finalists for that. There'd only be about 2 or 3 countries from our area who may qualify for that. So the other sports would be athletics and cycling and swimming. So we don't necessarily see that as a spot or bother, really.
Now, the inaugural edition of the Caribbean Games had been scheduled to be held in Trinidad and Tobago as far back as July 2009, but then those games were cancelled due to the global spread of the novel influenza A virus at that time. Meanwhile, the IAAF has pushed back the Olympic qualifying window until the start of December. It means any results achieved between now and then will not count towards either Tokyo 2020 or world rankings. Many athletes have already qualified for the Olympics, given the qualification periods that began on either January 1st or May 1st of 2019, depending on the event. Should the pandemic allow, the qualification period will resume at the start of December, and as a result, it will be 4 months longer in total than had been planned before the postponement. World Athletics said the decision was made following consultations with its council and athletes commission, as well as the presidents of its 6 area associations. Well, another sporting event that was to be staged here in Barbados has been called off. It's the 2020 Barbados International Squash Masters. This confirmation comes from President of the Barbados Squash Club, Liliana White, who was speaking to sports journalist Andy Thornhill.
As of mid-April, we had over 50 competitors from overseas already signed up. As COVID-19 hit and we had to make decisions, we had to make cancellations due to this, to all the travel restrictions across the world. So we were on looking like a good tournament, a good bring out of the overseas competitors already before COVID-19.
Can you remember some of those players and where they were coming from?
We had USA, Canada, and UK. So far that we had confirmed, I believe there was one from Germany, St. Vincent, BVI, and Trinidad and Tobago.
White added that with the cancellation, there will be a reduction in foreign exchange coming into the country.
Especially areas around the Barbados Squash Club, bars and restaurants around in that area tend to definitely make big business. The club makes some good business from it. It's one of our biggest fundraising events at the Barbados Squash Club. and it will pose a big hurt in our profits for this year, as well as the foreign exchange. I mean, last year we had over 96 competitors from overseas.
Barbadian-born Joe Archer has been named as one of Wisden's 5 cricketers of the year. Archer bowled the crucial super over as England overcame New Zealand to be crowned world champions for the first time at Lord's last summer. He played in all England's games and was subsequently named in the Ashes squad and made his Test debut in the second match. Archer took 6 for 45 in the first innings of the dramatic third Test at Headingley as England recovered from a position of peril to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Australians Pat Cummins, Marnus Labuschagne and Elise Perry have been named alongside Archer, as well as Essex off-spinner Simon Harmer, to complete the list of Wisden's 5 cricketers of the year. Perry, who is the first non-England women's player to appear as one of the 5, has also been named the world's leading women's cricketer. Meantime, Ben Stokes has been named the Wisden's leading cricketer in the world. The India captain Virat Kohli would have won that for the past 3 years.
Well, now it's Anne-Marie's turn to pick back up in the sports studio. Welcome back. What do you have for us in the second half, Anne-Marie?
Well, thank you, Lisa. As I said, the former FIFA Vice President Austin Jack Warner is in more hot water. New documents released from the United States District Court for the Eastern District of New York are suggesting that Warner was arranging bribe payments totaling $5 million in exchange for votes that favored Russia to host the 2018 World Cup. The money was allegedly sent to a Republic Bank account controlled by Warner in the name of the Caribbean Football Union through more than 24 separate wire transfers between November 2010 and April 2011. Now, CONCACAF Vice President Randy Harris says these new allegations shouldn't reflect negatively on the current administration.
This is just a further spin-off of what has happened up to 2015. CONCACAF has done a lot of work since then to clean up their credibility and ensuring that they are compliant with good management. I don't see how this can affect CONCACAF at this time. We're moving forward with a different dispensation, and we cannot look back on what has happened before. The only way we will do that is to ensure that we don't ever get back to that kind of business behavior.
Now, the Barbados Athletes Commission has been ensuring that all decisions taken in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic is in the best interest of our national athletes by keeping the lines of communication open, not only with the governing bodies and associations, but among the athletes themselves. Chairman Anicia Wood says it's all about everyone working together in this challenging time.
We have been on a few conference calls, most recently with the IOC and their International Athletes Commission, where they updated athlete representatives from across the world and answered any questions or concerns, many of which revolved around Olympic qualification. That is, whether athletes who qualify for the Olympics would remain qualified, and that is a yes. And another concern was really how future qualification events and systems would work, and that would really have to be adapted accordingly, and it's really dependent on that of the respective sporting international federations. But it has been agreed that no further qualification events should be scheduled unless it can guarantee that there is a fair access and also fair and appropriate preparation for the competent athletes and teams.
While much emphasis has been placed on athletes maintaining their physical and mental health, Wood has also assured that financially the athletes will continue to be taken care of as the Olympic Solidarity funding will continue.
Yes, Olympic Solidarity scholarships along with team support grants and Olympic Games subsidies will continue into 2021. Closer to home, our NOC, the Barbados Olympic Association, held a similar conference call with our athletes, many of which were on track to attend various qualification events. And they were too updated on information that we were able to share with them and hear their concerns and answer any questions as well. And they were assured that they would continue to receive support and funding from the BOA and that the funding hasn't stopped. So that is something that they don't have to worry about at this time.